Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Today we're gonna be doing a Star Wars timeline so far reaction. For Cinematica. Yeah, it is by Stanley Presents. It's about a year ago, so it's a little bit dated, but we'll go with this so far. Since this is cinematics, I'm assuming it probably just covering the movies. Cause it's been a while since I watched anything Star Wars. I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna get a little bit more familiar with everything I know and everything, and then do a deeper lore dive to, like, if this doesn't cover the old lore, I'll do a deep dive on, like, Old Republic timeline, and then I'll look up, like, any characters that I find very interesting, which I have done for a couple, but that's for another time. For now, let's get right into the reaction. I'll see you guys over there. All right, let's get right into this.
Star Wars is a large world, or
Yes, it is.
worlds, rather.
Yep.
All of the places and events that happen make it feel as large as they say, and beyond that, we have quite a few different eras to choose from the Clone Wars to the Galactic Civil War to the Rise of the First Order. The players may change, but the board remains the same. In honor of a series that's so beloved by all, we want to cover the events within the canon series, so get into your most meditative stance, my young Padawans. Let's dive into the history of Star Wars. But one quick explanation before we do, though, for those who don't yet know, the Star Wars universe uses its own type of calendar. Don't worry, the amount of days remain the same, but they do count years a little differently. While on our calendars we tend to count years using BCE and AD, Star Wars uses the Battle of Yavin, that is, the explosion of the first Death Star in A New Hope, as their marker. That being said, the terms they use are BBY, which means before the Battle of Yavin, and ABY, which means after the Battle of Yavin. This quick explanation should help you keep track of the time.
That's a crazy thing to focus the entire year gap on. Imagine an event being so big that everybody uses the year system after the event as it. Or is it in the universe, or is it the one that the people creating the universe use as time reference? Because if it's an in-universe, that's crazy. That's absurd.
Timeline, so let's get into it. I honestly don't know if this is a complete timeline. There's so much Star Wars, so this is a Star Wars timeline.
Yeah.
Also, I'm gonna mispronounce some stuff. It's Star Wars, so apologies in advance. There's a lot. Prehistory. Eons BBY, the universe is formed. During this formation, a certain galaxy far, far away is formed, a supermassive black hole at its center. Stars begin to orbit around this supermassive black hole, creating what we know and love as the Star Wars galaxy. Midichlorians are also created through the wellspring of life to connect the living force generated by all living things to the cosmic force that bound the universe together. These midichlorians would form a symbolic relationship with all living things in an attempt to guide them according to the will of the Force. The father, son, and daughter would be born and come to rule over the realm known as Mortis. Ilum would also begin the process of forming crystals that would later come to be used by Jedi to focus the blades of their lightsabers.
The Kyber crystals.
These crystals would become known as Kyber crystals and would eventually also be corrupted by the dark side to form the focusing crystals in their lightsabers as well through the bleeding process. Dagobah is also covered in lava as the formation process, which would form Mount Dagobah.
I remember, I don't, because I've heard different stories about it, right? That at one point you could find red Kyber crystals, but at another point it was that you had to bleed into, like, your hatred into them and it'll turn them red. And I heard a different one that, like, what the Inquisitors had fake red Kyber crystals and something like that. They didn't bleed it and such. So I'm like, I don't know which one's true. I just know all three of them were said to me at one point. That's all.
Non-sentient life would form on the planet of Dagobah thereafter. It would also begin to form on the planets Brevaeus, Krull, and Abinetto. These species would eventually become the Brevasians, Kroluch, and Abinetto, respectively. 100,000 BBY. The first levels of Coruscant are under construction, slowly turning the planet into a ecumenopolis, a city encompassing an entire planet or moon. I did not know that word.
Me neither. We
Ecumenopolis,
learn every
I think
day.
is how it's pronounced. 57,000 BBY. The planet Utapau was settled by colonialists who would later become what we all know as the Utai and the Powans. During this age, there was no hyperspace travel by sentient species, and most spaceflight was achieved by taking the long way. It's during this age that Batu is colonized after thousands of years since the Great Cataclysm, which caused the planet's massive trees to be petrified. It's also during this time that an ancient race, having studied the Purgil, a spacefaring species of animal that can utilize hyperspace travel, develop hyperdrives for their own vessels to allow travel at light speed and beyond. This still predates the nav computer though, so moving through space at these speeds was rather dangerous, and accidents that had you traveling into a star through a supernova were common. The practice of dropping beacons was often used to create guideposts between two jump points to allow for safe jumps in straight lines, though flying through a pod of Purgil was still a hazard. 30,000 BBY. The Deveronians became adept scouts who leave their home planet of Deveron and begin exploring the galaxy, developing hyperdrives independently for their own use. During this era, the planet Benetage in the Outer Rim is abandoned. 27,000 BBY. The planet Felucia is colonized by Gossam Corvers, and human civilization has developed on Empress Teta. The era of the Old Republic. 25,000 BBY.
Old Republic.
The Galactic Republic is formed by 22 founding core planets. These planets include, but are obviously not limited to, Alderaan, Chandrila, Corellia, Coruscant, and Duro. The Dai Bendu, a precursor to the Jedi Order, also start their existence and become the first known users of holocrons. In the hopes of preserving peace in the galaxy, a being known only as the Prime Jedi founds what would be known as the Jedi Order on Ahch-To. The Prime Jedi would later have a vision and write a prophecy of a chosen one who would rise and bring balance to the Force. During this same period of time, a Jedi scout would discover the planet Ilum through Force-assisted hyperspace travel. For those of you who want to know what that means, it means he used no nav computer or beacon and just jumped randomly in accordance to what direction the Force led him. This is how they discovered Ilum. The first Jedi Temple is built on an island on Ahch-To. Thereafter, a village is also formed to hold the Jedi who would live there. During the Expansionist period, the Corellian Run helps to form the Corellia system. The Corellian trade spine and Perlemian trade route are also founded. Duros explorers find and settle Neimoidia and Cato Neimoidia, and would then join the Galactic Republic. The era between 22,000 BBY and 5,000 BBY. An unspecified amount of time before the Galactic Civil War, the comet Kinro is predicted to pass through the core worlds, devastating the Republic. The Jedi Order would band together and will the comet apart. This, however, costs many Jedi their lives and sanity to execute. 22,000 BBY. Neimoidia joins the Galactic Republic as an independent world. 21,032 BBY. The Blood Monarchy is established on Thespius, the site of many battles during the Great Manifest period. 15,000 BBY. Rhodia officially joins the Galactic Republic. During this same time, the Neimoidian people and the Duros people's physical distinctions become really clear. 12,000 BBY. Settlers from Corellia colonize a planet that becomes an Ordnance regional depot known as Ord Mantell. The Jedi move their cultural center to Ossus, which becomes a near-mandatory pilgrimage site for all Jedi. The ice moon Mesula is shattered. The first Grand Zagoth of Utapau, Crinbald Kyr, dies. An unspecified amount of time between 12,000 BBY and the Clone Wars. The Temple of the Kyber is formed on the desert planet of Jeddah. Hylamane Lightbringer is born and would later be bludgeoned to death by a chair, disproving the legend that he could not be killed by mortal means.
I don't know where my information came for this, but I've heard of this story. I've heard of this story for some reason. I don't know where or when, but I've heard of this story specifically about a man coding he can't die to mortal means, and then he gets just hits, like, he immediately gets executed by a fucking chair.
The Jedi Knights defeat the Zygerian Slave Empire. A dark Jedi seeking more power convinces other Jedi to embrace the dark side of the Force, causing a split within the Jedi Order known as the 100-Year Darkness. These dark Jedi form a rival order known as the Sith, but are defeated and exiled into unknown space, leading to the discovery of the planet Moraband, which would become the home to the Sith. They build temples and tombs for their greatest warriors in a place called the Valley of the Dark Lords. They await the time that they can take—
Wait, you see Moraband? Oh, okay, so it's not the thing from the Old Republic where it's after 1,000 years, Korriban is ours again.
take their revenge. Using slave labor, they go to war against the Jedi using super weapons powered by kyber crystals. Darth Moment is then
It's powered by kyber. Oh no, that's just an example. I don't know why I thought that the Death Star was powered by kyber crystals when we saw how it was powered in the movie. I don't know why I thought that.
born and trained by the Sith Lord Darth Shah. He would go on to kill her and hone his craft as he wanders the galaxy. Moment would later go on to destroy a city with a super weapon, but he and his acolytes are defeated by a pair of Jedi, and the Sith then deem Darth Moment a heretic and suppress any knowledge of him whatsoever. However, Moment's spirit remains, residing within his mask. Before the time of the Galactic Republic, the lushly forested planet Mustafar is inhabited by off-worlder Lady Korvax, who lives in harmony with the native Mustafarians along with her husband. The latter dies as a result of an attack on Mustafar, leading to Korvax's theft of the most sacred Mustafarian relic, the Bright Star, in an attempt to use it in a ritual to resurrect her love. The ritual fails. Instead, the Bright Star's energies pushes Mustafar into a new orbit, reducing the world to an unbalanced, chaotic state. A volcanic wasteland is created as tiny Mustafar is torn between gas giants Lafrani and Jestafad. Thus, Sith seeking the secrets of eternal life are attracted to the world. Radaki during this time leaves the Jedi Order, believing that it's wrong to force people to sever ties to attachments with people and their wealth. Radaki would then proceed to fall to the dark side and be named Darth Krall. Sith victory at Battle of Wasted Years. This would be attributed to Darth Krall, who would also be remembered for taming the Nightmare Conjunction and as one of the Lost 20. The Ordu Espectu is formed, led by Ruhr and related to the Massassi. The Jedi Splinter Group comes into contact with Jedi Orthodoxy with their experiments on immortality, beginning the Intruvia conflict. A dating system based on the signing of the Domantian Accord is used around this time. The conflict is ended with the Jedi Ordu Espectu peace treaty. By the treaty's terms, Jedi inspectors arrive at the Citadel of Ruhr, and believing they intended to deactivate him, an artificial intelligence made of Ruhr's knowledge seizes control of the Citadel's droids and slaughters its inhabitants. Ruhr sacrifices himself to deactivate the machine, hyperspace jumping the Citadel across the galaxy in an event that would become known as the Doom of the Order, Ordu Espectu. The Corsair Wars begin. In the aftermath of the war, Jedi Master Uab breaks Jedi doctrine and helps develop the Far Killer sniper rifle, a weapon that utilizes the same technology as a lightsaber to work. The carbonite mines of Empress Tata's system are
another randomly known obscure knowledge for some reason. I remember hearing about that sniper rifle being made by that Jedi. That's it. I don't know anything else.
conquered by the Krath. A sentient species creates a gate that forms a wormhole through space and time that allows them their exodus from the wider galaxy. 9,991 BBY. The Mandalorian people begin to originate from their homeworld of Mandalore and form a culture centered around war and honor. This is the way, Vodan. 7,977 BBY. The CRC dating system is adopted. 6,000 BBY. The civilization of Bardota begins when the Frangal cult rules over a militant society. 5,500 BBY. A super hyperroute is formed and named the Rima Trade Route. Fall of the Old Republic. 5,000 BBY. At the end of the Empress Tata Unification Wars, the Great Hyperspace War takes place in which the Sith Empire invades Empress Tata. The Republic wages war against the Sith Empire, and through the help of the Jedi Order, the Sith Lord Nagasato is pushed back and the Sith forces scatter across the galaxy. However, while the inhabitants of Empress Tata take this hyperspace war as fact, the wider galaxy speculates the validity of the claims due to the lack of archaeological proof. The Sith do wage a war during this era, however, against both the Jedi Order and the Republic. During this war, the capital of the Galactic Republic, Coruscant, falls to the Sith Empire. They build a shrine on the surface to exude the dark side. But the Jedi invade and manage to repel the Sith and reclaim the capital. The Jedi Library is formed on the planet Ossus as the physical embodiment of Jedi knowledge.
I'm assuming that when Coruscant fell, that was the clip we watched from the cinematic trailer earlier. You were so blinded by your power, you thought none could oppose you. Bum 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 bum. Sorry.
The Massassi build the Great Temple on Yavin 4. The era between 5,000 BBY and 1,000 BBY takes place during the fall of the Great Republic. The Mandalorian Jedi War takes place. During this time, the Mandalorians launch something known as the Mandalorian Crusades. It was during this war that Mandalorians were faced with the strange powers of the Jedi that they didn't understand, and so they began to add more and more gadgets and technology to their armor specifically designed to be able to capture and harm even a Jedi. Due to this, the Mandalorians began winning many battles, and the technology added became a mainstay of their armor. During the Crusades, they invaded the planet Ubduria, where they're heavily offended by what they claim to be cowardly behavior. This leads to them laying waste to the planet. The Jedi manage to push the Mandalorians back though, and follow them all the way back to Mandalore, where the battle becomes so intense that the planet of Mandalore is reduced to a scorched desert wasteland too inhospitable for life. This causes the Mandalorian people to build domes around their cities in an effort to make their home capable of sustaining them. 4000 BBY. Explorers from Grismalt discover Naboo, and the native Gungans retreat into their swamps after a long war with the humans. Sometime within this time frame, the Chiss Ascendancy wages war with an unknown enemy which forces them to utilize the Starflash. The Chiss Ascendancy wins the war, but the result of the Starflash's usage results in irreparable harm to their son, which forces the Chiss to leave their homeworld of Scylla in 1019 BBY. Furthermore, in 4000 BBY's time frame, the Gungans are united under Boss Gallo and begin building their capital city of Otogunga. At around the same time that the Gungans are unifying, the humans who had come to call themselves the Naboo were splitting into warring factions, marking the beginning of the era known as the Time of Suffering. Sometime during 4000 BBY, it's said that the planet of Ossus, which served as the homeworld of the Jedi Order at the time, was devastated by the Kron supernova supposedly caused by Naga Sadow. During this time, 4 Jedi Masters moved to the planet Coruscant, which had an abundance of Force energy. The issue with this is that there was a Sith shrine there corrupting the flow of the Force. So, what's a Jedi Master?
If I remember right, they built another shrine on top of the shrine, right?
Sometimes my genius it's almost frightening.
To do, they dump concrete on it and build a new Jedi temple over top of it.
Yep, okay, I did remember that, right? Like, I remember they just did the most weirdest, dumbest thing, and then they just built over it. They're like, yeah, that looks like a good spot. Oh, somebody's car there? I paid for that spot. I'm getting it.
This is the formation of the Jedi Order on Coruscant and the 4 Masters who would later be venerated as statues protecting the temple's entrance, known as the 4 Founders. 3966 BBY. By this point, galactic travelers navigate hyperspace using hyperspace sextants. Sith accounts describing the Kyber weaponry built by Darth Tanis within the Sith Temple on Malachor are made. This is around the time that the massive battle station is discovered by the Jedi who invade Malachor. In an event known as the Scourge of Malachor, all participants are petrified by the superweapon, leaving it barren, with only a single holocron possessing a consciousness known only as the Presence is left behind. All information on the planet is suppressed until Yoda informs Ezra Bridger of its location during the Galactic Civil War, where Darth Maul had recently located it. 3277 BBY. The Lothal calendar is formed. 1050 BBY. The Jedi Tare Vizsla forms his legendary weapon, the Darksaber, which would go on to be revered for generations to come as the symbol of Mandalorian strength.
Bro, the Darksaber is so sexy, though. I'm not gonna lie, I have to talk about it for like a good day. That was scary. My sister just came in and dropped me off some pizza from like an Italian place nearby. Anyways, besides that distraction, let's get right into it.
1000 BBY. The Galactic Republic falls, beginning an era known as the Dark Age. During this era, the Sith are once more at war with the Republic and the Jedi Order. The Army of Light faces off against the Brotherhood of Darkness, of which Darth Bane is a part. The Army of Light is victorious, though the cost is incredibly high.
Darth Bane. I feel like I've heard that name. I just don't know who it is, but I've definitely heard that name. Oh, so why does that man have goat legs? What in the Lord of the Ring?
Oh my goodness!
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am.
No, not Lord of the Rings is what I'm thinking about. I'm thinking about what's the one with the closet? With the lion.
The Sith, which once had many thousands of members, are reduced to the point that they're believed to finally be extinct. Bane escapes and begins developing the Rule of Two, in which the Sith will later have their revenge through a single master and apprentice. Bane would later be overthrown by his apprentice, Darth Zana. She would bury him in the Valley of the Dark Lords on Moraband, making Bane the last Sith to be buried there. The war between the Jedi and Sith officially reaches its end, though the threat of the Sith is merely thought to be gone. In truth, it's become more dangerous now than ever. During this time frame, the Galactic Republic reforms, and the time of the Dark Age and the Old Republic is officially considered over. The official calendars of that time start anew, and the Grand Army of the Republic is officially disbanded. Tarsus Valorum is elected the first Supreme Chancellor of the Republic's new era. The Jedi Temple on Ilum is formed. 965 BBY. The Dai Bendu Monastery is built on Kijimi. 896 BBY. Yoda is born, and this one we actually are allowed to call Baby Yoda. 7 BBY. Naboo officially joins the Galactic Republic.
Damn, so Yoda, Yoda really old. He really old.
832 BBY. General Jafan ends Naboo's long-standing time of suffering and restores peace to the planet. Theed is founded, and the Theed Royal Palace is constructed in the same year under the direction of King Jafan. Uniter and ruler of all the Naboo, Jafan becomes the first ruler of the Great Time of Peace. 797 BBY. Yoda begins to train to become a Jedi. 501 BBY. The armor that would one day belong to Sabine Wren is forged. 350 BBY.
No idea who that is.
The Trade Federation is founded by the Neimoidians. 257 BBY. The Jedi Order's T-1 shuttle sees action in the Iram Irono crisis. Philithar Jedi Master Simix is killed in a ship crash, leaving his Padawan Comac Vitus conflicted over the Jedi ways of non-attachment. Vitus nevertheless resolved the crisis alongside Master Lared Soveral and her Padawan, the Umbran Orla Jareni. 232 BBY. The Coruscant-based Republic Chancellor, Lina So, envisions a galaxy of great works that range from infrastructure to culture in an effort to expand the Republic's reaches. Pan the Republic reaches better connect the peoples of the galaxy and bring inspiration and peace for all citizens. Efforts are made to negotiate a new peace treaty between the Quarren and Mon Calamari, as well as to mass-produce Bacta, a miracle substance primarily made of a barley originally cultivated from Thyphera that was intended to replace Juven, in the hopes of revolutionizing medicine. As part of Chancellor So's pledge to maintain...
I did not understand at all what Bacta is. That explanation did nothing to my brain. It did not give me any information that my brain could accept.
The Republic's hold on the hard-to-navigate Outer Rim, outreach programs are established in the Rim. In the Galactic Frontier, where order and justice is maintained by the Knights of the Jedi Order, who at independently operated outposts...
Look at that. Look at those lightsabers, right? They're all cool. But the coolest one gotta be the Darksaber on the right. Or the one all the way to the left. Though the classic green is also awesome. But like, those are my other two favorites.
Posts such as the Jedi Temple Outpost on Karagon Viner work closely with the Republic without direct assistance from the Coruscant Jedi Temple. The Starlight Beacon space station is constructed as part of the series of outreach programs. Launched in 232 BBY, it features a large Jedi temple designed by Paulo Hidala and is placed in the center of dark zones in the Rim to guide travelers and boost the region's transmission times, intended to be the first beacon of a new galactic communications relay network. A conclave between the Jedi Order and the Republic involving Jedi Master Avar Kriss and Admiral Pavel Kronara of the Republic Defense Coalition is held at the Starlight Beacon. The strain from the Jedi mission to Zaytuin leads to Des Ryden to request a transfer to the Starlight Beacon. With the Jedi and the Republic's Starlight program infringing on his territory, and coupled with his family's past conflicts against the Jedi, Marchion Ro instigates the Great Hyperspace Disaster. In hyperspace, the Legacy Run...
I have heard of this. I forget what happens. Was it that I'm pretty sure a ship got destroyed in hyper travel, right? And it was like a big ass fucking ship. Or was it multiple? That's the only thing. I don't know some of the details, but I get the general gist of it. I've heard of this and I've seen this, right? And then shards of it start, like, since it's in hyper travel, there's shards of it that got thrown here, there, here, there, here, there, here, there, hitting places. Hitting places and destroying some planets and such, or moons. But like, yeah, I've heard of this.
Canif Yard's Class A modular freight transport of the Bind Guild encounters a Nihil ship and is destroyed. Starships across the galaxy are abruptly knocked out of hyperspace by missiles of debris from the Legacy Run, which also threaten to destroy space stations, moons, as well as planets. The Republic turns to the Jedi for help in saving lives and ending the crisis, and Jedi activity sees a significant increase. Due to being delayed at the Starlight Beacon, Master Avar Kriss and Admiral Pevel Kronara become the first to respond to the disaster in the nearby Hetzal system. Coordinating efforts to save citizens from aboard the Third Horizon, Vernesta Rho, having been the Padawan of Stellan Gios, is made a Jedi Knight at the age of 16, becoming one of the youngest Knights of the Jedi Order in a generation. Vernestra Rho is stranded on a jungle moon with several other individuals, including Avon Staros of the Staros clan. When their transport ship, the Steady Wing, is sabotaged by the Nihil, the Jedi Wayseeker Orla Jareni, Jedi Knight Des Ryden, Jedi Padawan Raeth Silas, and Jedi Master Comac Vitus, as well as the cargo ship vessel's captain Leox Gyasi, co-pilot Affy Hollow, and the navigator Geode are ripped out of hyperspace as a result of the Great Disaster. They take refuge in a seemingly abandoned Amaxine space station. Aboard the Amaxine station, the Jedi passengers of the vessel are disturbed by dark visions. Believing that a set of 4 binding statues contained the dark side influence, the Jedi take away the Force artifact for
I think I've heard of these statues, right? I think I've heard of this, right? If I remember right, these statues have some kind of monsters in them. And when they broke the statues, it released them into the wild, and they were like really a big problem, if I remember right.
Purification in the Sith Shrine located beneath the Coruscant Jedi Temple. However, they're proven wrong and realize that the statues had contained something else. A series of emergencies come to threaten star systems across the galaxy. Following the first emergence in the Abdallah system, the Nihil attack an evacuation convoy belonging to Gorello Technologies. The Nihil attack Triman 4 as the Triman 4 disaster occurs. Zine Mrala joins Lula Talisola's group of Jedi Padawans in defending Bralanak City from hyperspace debris and raiders led by the Eye of the Nihil, Markion Ro. The Santeca clan, having risen from a family of hyperspace prospectors in the outer reaches of the galaxy to a dynasty privy to leading technology that allows Chancellor So's Republic to continue expanding safely to new areas about a century ago, operates alongside the galactic government as it responds to the Great Disaster. While restoring the statues aboard the Amaxine station, the Jedi are attacked by the Nihil. To defend themselves against overwhelming forces, the Jedi are forced to destroy the statues to unleash what it contained. A group of Drengir, who were put into stasis by the Sith through the binding statues long ago, are thus awakened from their slumber. While the vessel's crew escapes amidst the chaos, several Drengir are released into open space in the process. The tragic poet Omar Barenko is reputed by residing at the Varakino Artist's Retreat on Naboo. Centuries before the year 22 BBY, the controversial Barenko was kidnapped from a scenic balcony overlooking the lakes after penning the disturbing and visionary epic poem titled Defense of Naboo in the Room of Morning Mists. The Jedi High Council convenes to discuss the threat of the Nihil, and after a contested debate between Grandmaster Laru and Jedi Masters such as Yariel Poof, Rana Kant, Oppo Rensisis, Keaton Murag, Adali...
Bro, imagine having a bunch of Jedi Masters and your name is Yari Poof, bro.
You serious?
Where's Jedi Master Poof? I'm sorry. I shouldn't be laughing too much about that.
Caro, and the stand-in of Grandmaster Yoda, who was on sabbatical from Council Affairs, Efru Shin, approves a joint effort between the Jedi and the Republic in a mission against the Nihil as proposed by Counselor So. The Nihil conduct a raid on Elfrona, capturing Jedi Master Loden Greatstorm and Farmer Odo Blythe. Markion Ro executes the farmer, intending to keep Greatstorm for future plans. The Battle of Kur occurs. Markion Ro sends Kassav's Tempest to death in the Core Nebula, intending to trick the Jedi and the Republic that they had destroyed the Nihil. The Trandoshan Jedi Master Skier loses his left arm and blames himself for the death of Master Jorah Mali. The medical substance Kolto is in common use at this point. Jedi Grandmasters Patre Vetter and Yoda join other Jedi and Republic personnel, amongst them Chancellor Lena Stowe, the newly minted Jedi Knight Keeve Trennis, and the newly appointed Marshal of the Starlight Beacon Avar Kriss aboard the latter station in its dedication ceremony for light and life. Skier hides a devastating secret that was tearing him apart, drawing a private emotional outburst from him soon after Starlight's dedication. Surik, which formed a part of a phrase used by the Jedi Skier, existed by this point. By this point, the Hutt clan is sanctioned from trading openly in Republic space. The Drengir abduct children on Sedri Minor. The Nihil attack a Hutt clan ship in the recently Republic-aligned Kazlan system, prompting the Jedi Skier, Keef Trennis, and the Kotabi Bond twins Tarek and Seret to investigate the resulting wreckage. Tracing the Hutt craft's origin to the Sedri system, Skier and Seret take a T-1 shuttle to Sedri Minor. Avar Kriss and Vernestra Rowe take the Ataraxia to join Trennis aboard the Hutt craft. On Sedri Minor, Seret is captured by the Drengir, and Kriss, Tarek, and Trennis, traveling aboard the Ataraxia, join Skier on the moon. Seret yields to the powerful shadow cast by Drengir and joins their collective mind. Sharing the same mind with Seret, Tarek also succumbs to the Drengir's influence and becomes crazed. While Kriss and Trennis confront the Drengir at their underground dwelling, Skier despairs that he couldn't help Tarek, who is uncontrollable and inconsolable. While Avar Kriss and Trennis fear Seret as well as a local boy from the Drengir, they're surrounded by more, who are accompanied by Skier. Skier had his mind joined with the Drengir's collective consciousness and had grown a botanical, plant-like left arm. Skier captures Kriss's crew, and the secret history of the Drengir is revealed. The Jedi and the Republic's Starlight Beacon is threatened by an age-old enemy. The Drengir, hungry for Jedi, arrive at a serene and remote Jedi outpost that the Jedi Lili Toraasi lived in. As a consequence of Menhir's bitterness and unwillingness to accept any change, the Drengir plague the village Skrull on the planet Batuu. 200 BBY. Chewbacca is born. 102 BBY. Count Dooku is born on Sereno and is brought into the Jedi the same year. Master Sifo Dyas is also born this year. 80 BBY. Qui-Gon Jinn is born on Coruscant. 68 BBY. Qui-Gon is apprenticed to Master Dooku.
We're starting to see all the players that we know from the series start to be born. Things are getting close to the stuff I know. Then again, I did know some weird stuff before. I don't know everything. I just knew some random facts. It's the most random facts ever. They had nothing to do with the plot.
65 BBY. The Theed Power Generator. You remember that weird place in the palace where they fought Darth Maul? Yeah, that place. It's built by Outer...
My favorite Sith Lord that is technically canon. My favorite canon Sith Lord. There's a different for Legends, or not. I wouldn't say Legends, but uncanon ones, different. But for this, for the movie canon and everything, Darth Maul, 100%.
Rim construction.
God, Duel of the Fates is such a good fight.
And assembly as a joint venture with Damask Holdings. For those of us who don't know, the CEO of Damask Holdings is Higo Damask II. This man is a moon like those who ran the banking clan, but you may know Higo Damask II better by the name of Darth Plagueis the Wise. It wasn't too far from this point in time that Plagueis and Palpatine were training and attempting to discover the secret to immortality and how to manipulate the midichlorians to create life. They did many tests and actually succeeded. Sidious and Plagueis managed to get many creatures pregnant using only the midichlorians, and among those who felt the effects of this grand experiment was a slave woman on Tatooine named Shmi Skywalker. 58 BBY. During the Mandalorian...
Isn't that a kicker? Isn't that the most oh my god moment? The entire Chosen One thing, while it may be true, it wasn't natural. It was made by, I wouldn't call it human intervention, but I would call it intervention either way. Of I guess you could call it a fate's trick, or it was an intervention of species, right? Messing with stuff that they probably shouldn't have messed with. And at the end of the day, he was if that is how that works, he was a lab rat. The Chosen One was a lab rat.
In Civil War, Jaster Muriel leads the true Mandalorians against Tor Vizsla's Death Watch in battle on Concord Dawn. Jaster's men are beaten back and scatter as Jaster is taken in by a family known as the Fets. However, Death Watch catches up fast and Jaster fails to save the Fets, with only their son Jango escaping.
I was gonna say, my favorite I said my favorite Sith Lord is Darth Maul. My favorite regular person is not Jango, but Boba Fett. I love him so much. He's amazing. I like him. He's my favorite character, which is why I'm not gonna discuss the show because that was an abomination on its own, and I do not want to talk about it. They did my boy Cad. No, is it Cad Bane? Is that, if I remember right, Cad Bane's like the blue bounty hunter, right? Alien blue. They did him dirty. They did Boba dirty, and I don't even the speeder bike chase. We're not even gonna. I'm not even. Editor, don't you dare even put it on the screen. It deserves no attention. Let's just move on. Let's move on.
The battle is won by the true Mandalorians, however, with the help of Jango, who's named an honorary Mandalorian for his valor. Years later, Jango is assigned to be the leader of his own squad in battle, along with Montrose, who leads Vertigo Squad, and Jaster, who leads Headhunter Squad. As the battle intensifies, however, Montrose disobeys orders and presses attack instead of retreating. This forced Jaster to bail out Vertigo Squad, but Jaster is betrayed and killed. Montrose claims Jango is dead in an attempt to take the title of Mandalore, but Jango shows up carrying the body of Jaster and claims the title instead. Jango then leads the true Mandalorians to Galadron, where Death Watch is being harbored by the Governor. Jango manages to drive them out, but the Jedi are called in by the Governor. They proceed to kill the true Mandalorians with only Jango remaining. The Governor sells Jango into slavery, but Jango escapes and settles scores. He manages to track down Death Watch and Tor Vizsla, where he kills them all by himself and a family of dire cats. 45
Yeah.
BBY.
Bro, we're talking about an origin story. I knew nothing about that, yet I accepted it like fact, like scripture. Of course Jango did this. Of course he could pull this off. Why? Because he's a badass. He's an absolute badass. Honestly, I give too much credit to anybody wearing a Mandalorian suit. I'm not gonna lie. If I see like the designs from like Boba's and Jango suits, or I guess the Mandalorian, though that's, I don't know, it doesn't feel the same to me. It doesn't have the same flair. I don't know why. It just doesn't feel the same. But whenever I see the old suits and everything, I'm like, you could pull off some sick shit. I know you can. You're about like that.
Qui-Gon chooses Obi-Wan as his apprentice.
Oh.
41 BBY. After 9 months post Sidious and Plague's experiment to create life through the Force, Anakin Skywalker is born to a very confused Shmi Skywalker. Also, Grogu is born this year too. This is the Baby Yoda that we're not allowed to call Baby Yoda. 40 BBY. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are sent to protect Satine Kryze during the Mandalorian Civil War. It's here that Obi-Wan definitely doesn't fall in love with Satine and definitely doesn't become the father of Corky Kryze. Nah, definitely not the father. Couldn't be him. 36 BBY.
I don't know,
Ahsoka
actually.
Tano is born.
I actually don't know about that. So, I find it ironic. They did kind of look the same there. It's like they just took off his beard. Low key. Oh my god, it is like they just ripped off the man's beard. Oh my god.
Definitely not the father. Couldn't be him. 36 BBY. Ashoka Tano is born. 33 BBY. Caleb Dune, aka Kanan Jarrus, is born. 32 BBY. The Geonosians begin manufacturing droids under orders of the Trade Federation, who were themselves under the influence of Darth Sidious. Sidious also oversaw the creation of the clone troopers on Kamino. A taxation on trade routes is pushed through the Senate by then-Chancellor Valorum, which would then serve as the catalyst that begins the Clone Wars. In protest, the Trade Federation sets up a blockade over Naboo, but this is a ploy and a cover for a secret invasion of the planet. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are sent to force a settlement, but are ambushed and escape to Naboo. While there, they take the Gungan Jar Jar Binks into their party and escape Naboo with Queen Padme Amidala. However, their ship is damaged on the way back to Coruscant and are required to stop for repairs on the planet of Tatooine, where they encounter Anakin Skywalker. After some crafty Qui-Gon big brain moments, they manage to free Anakin from slavery and get the parts they need. They escape to Coruscant, where, after being asked to defer an investigation, as well as some prodding from Senator Sheev Palpatine, Queen Amidala calls for a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum. Valorum is removed from office, and Senator Palpatine is nominated and confirmed to replace him. That night, Palpatine invites his mentor, Higo Damask II, to a night on the town where he waits for the old Sith Lord to grow drowsy from his drink and proceeds to murder him in his sleep, taking the mantle of Dark Lord of the Sith.
So he was still alive to this point. It's right here. And if we're basing it off the movie, that means that Darth Sidious by this point already had also his apprentice trained up, because this is what Darth Maul popped out. And he was like, "You've been trained well in the Force. You've been trained well in the Force. Go kill these 2 Jedi in Tatooine." Whatever. The point is, he's already trained that one. That means he had a secret apprentice this whole time that he never told Darth Plagueis about. So he was ready to replace him and looking for a reason.
Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan would then face Darth Maul. Maul kills Qui-Gon, but Obi-Wan...
Yeah, so it's the word, yeah. I don't know why, but I had the thought in my head from, the Clone Wars clip I saw. I was like, I used to be the apprentice to the strongest Sith in the galaxy. No longer. God, I need to watch that. There's so much shit I should probably watch, but I know I can't react to some of this stuff.
defeats Maul by bisecting the Sith Lord. Obi-Wan vows to train Anakin Skywalker, and peace returns to Naboo. By this time, Dooku is turned to the dark side and is given the title Darth Tyrannus by his master, Darth Sidious. 28 BBY. Padme Amidala steps down following two two-year terms as Queen of Naboo. Rey Lata defeats Jamila in her campaign to succeed Amidala, though Jamila later resigns for 4 years before being succeeded by Mutiny during the Clone Wars. 24 BBY. The Separatist crisis begins as thousands of star systems leave the Republic to join the Confederacy, breaking the Republic in two. The Separatist Senate forms. 23 BBY. The Senate debates whether an army should be raised and begins discussion on the Military Creation Act. 22 BBY. On her way to an important vote, now Senator Padme Amidala returns to Coruscant only for her ship to be destroyed by an assassin, killing her body double. Later, the mysterious assassin attempts to kill her once more while she's...
These bugs, screw them. They need to be torched, flame, burn, seed, cooked. They need to be gone immediately. Those bugs were no.
But is thwarted by Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi and his student Padawan Anakin Skywalker. They hunt down the changeling assassin Zam Wessel, but Zam is also killed by another assassin using a Kamino saber dart. The Council sends Anakin to guard Padme back on Naboo. Obi-Wan investigates the Star...
And there was a lot of guarding happening in Naboo at the time. Very much guarding.
What do you mean by that?
Very much guarding.
System of Kamino, and there finds a clone army which he reports back to the Jedi Council. He then discovers Jango Fett, who attempts to escape, but Obi-Wan is in hot pursuit and follows him all the way to Geonosis, where Obi-Wan is captured. After having a nightmare about his mother, Anakin takes Padme to Tatooine, where they search for his mother, only to find her dead. Anakin slaughters the Tusken Raiders.
I killed them. I killed them all. I slaughtered them like animals. No, they ran like animals, so I slaughtered them with animals. It was not just the men, but the women and the children. God, I love it. I love these movies. I still remember them. I watched them on VHS a long time ago, but they're good. I think I still have them actually in my cabinet. My VHS tapes. Unfortunately, I don't have a VHS player, so a lot of the movies I have from The Land Before Time, the Star Wars movies, I have a bunch more that I just will not remember. But yeah. Oh my god. I'm getting nostalgic now. Anyways, let's continue watching this.
Who were responsible, an action that reverberates through the Force and is felt by many Jedi, including Yoda. After this, they receive a transmission from Obi-Wan, which they patch through to the Council. Obi-Wan tells them of the droid factory and the plans to attack the Republic. The Republic votes to create the army, and Yoda goes to Kamino to inspect the clones. After being captured, Anakin and Padme escape with Obi-Wan and the help of the newly formed Grand Army of the Republic. Jango Fett is killed, leaving his armor to his clone son, Boba Fett. They chase Dooku back to his secret base and duel him, but both Anakin and Obi-Wan are wounded and are only saved when Yoda shows up and drives Dooku away. Anakin and Padme secretly get married. 22 BBY to 19 BBY. The Clone Wars take place and culminate with the capture of Chancellor Palpatine. Obi-Wan and Anakin are dispatched to save him and manage to kill Count Dooku, but fail to destroy General...
Do it. Kill him. You know you want to. Do it. Do it. Kill the man. Sorry. I'm enjoying this way too much. I love Star Wars way too much.
General Grievous. Then they crash
Bro, they did not do General Grievous justice in the movies. I do know that. I saw that not the Clone Wars, that cartoon. It was look like a different type of cartoon. The one with that one Shaggy Jedi is in with that like crash land, and then we have Grievous picking them off one at a time, and then he goes after the Chancellor, and it's like a whole like we get to see the man in action, like full on action, and that is true like terror, and it was cool.
crash land on Coruscant. Anakin then learns that Padme is pregnant and is plagued with the nightmares of her death. Suspicions rise that the dark side surrounds the Chancellor, and so they let Anakin onto the Council only to act as a double agent against Palpatine, which Anakin finds distasteful and discloses to Palpatine. However, Palpatine reveals himself as Darth Sidious to Anakin and attempts to persuade him to join the dark side. Anakin tells Mace Windu. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan is sent to Utapau along with the 212th Attack Battalion to deal with General Grievous. Obi-Wan manages to kill the general. Mace Windu and various other Jedi confront the Senate, Palpatine, which results in a battle in which all of the Jedi
What do you mean? He is the Senate. I am the Senate.
Masters brought by Mace, including my boy Kit Fisto, are killed.
I know. Yeah, this guy, I played him in a Lego Star Wars game in the Wii, and he was the one survivor from that Grievous mission in there. And was it Star Wars? The old, the Star? No. Why was I gonna say the Old Republic? But Star Wars, the Clone Wars, right? Lego Star Wars, the Clone Wars. I'm pretty sure is where that mission was included.
Oh, why did it have to be Kit Fisto? F's
I
in the chat for
know,
Kit Fisto.
F's in the chat.
Windu defeats Palpatine soundly in battle, but Anakin interrupts and Palpatine manages to kill the Jedi Master. Consumed with guilt and fear, Anakin swears himself to Palpatine and is renamed Darth Vader by the Sith Lord. Order 66 is then called, and Anakin marches into the temple to kill the Jedi. Reva is among the younglings Anakin attempts to kill, but she manages to survive and is turned into an Inquisitor who seeks vengeance against Vader. Obi-Wan is attacked by Commander Cody, and Ashoka is attacked by Commander Rex. Yes, he was named Commander before the series ended. Ashoka saves Rex.
You know, my favorite clone trooper was Cody. They gave him. I was so eternally hurt when I saw this scene. I was like, how dare you?
Turned into an Inquisitor who seeks vengeance against Vader. Obi-Wan is attacked by Commander Cody.
How dare you? I love this guy so much, only to figure out that nothing really of substance happens with him anymore after this.
Cody, and Ashoka is attacked by Commander Rex. Yes, he was named Commander before the series ended. Ashoka saves Rex and the two flee together into hiding. Obi-Wan survives the attack and makes his way back to Coruscant where he discovers the truth. Obi-Wan and Yoda split up to face Darth Vader and Darth Sidious respectively. Yoda fails to kill Sidious and departs for Dagobah for exile. Obi-Wan defeats and maims Vader but fails to kill him. Padme gives birth to twins but dies shortly after. The twins are split up. Bail Organa takes Leia, and Obi-Wan sends Luke to live with the Lars family on Tatooine. The Imperial Era. 14 BBY. The events of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order take place. Darth Sidious and Darth Vader undertake a mission to Ryloth. The Free Ryloth movement, led by Cham Syndulla, attempts to assassinate the two Sith Lords. The deaths of Belcor Dre and Isval also occur. 10 BBY. The events of Solo, a Star Wars story, take place, including his legendary Kessel Run.
I never seen this movie.
9 BBY. The events of Kenobi occur. Obi-Wan is sent to rescue Leia Organa, and once he does, he must safeguard Luke from Reva, though he's too late. However, Owen and Beru Lars manage to protect Luke from her for a while. Before she can kill Luke, however, she has a change of heart and releases her hatred of Vader to return to the light side. 5 BBY. The events of Star Wars Rebels occur. 4 BBY. Kanan Jarrus is captured by the Empire, and Ezra Bridger's message echoes out from an Imperial relay station. With the rescue of Kanan, the fire across the galaxy is set. Lothal is seized by the Empire. 3 BBY. Kanan, Ezra, and Ashoka travel to Malachor where they discover Maul and are chased down by the Inquisitors and Vader himself. Ezra escapes with the holocron. 1 BBY. Phoenix Squadron leads an assault on the Imperial presence on Lothal. Kanan Jarrus is killed saving his team. Sometime around this year, the Night of a Thousand Tears takes place on Mandalore, in which the Empire massacres the Mandalorian people in response to the Bo-Katan Kryze taking over leadership of Mandalore after the demise of Tiber Saxon. The Mandalorian people are nearly wiped out. 0 BBY. Lothal is freezed when Ezra sacrifices himself to take Thrawn out with a pod of Purgil, a group of brave rebels from Scarif, and steal the plans to the Death Star in which Galen Erso had put a secret weakness. They transmitted the plans to the Tantive 4, which escaped the battle. Darth Vader launched off in hot pursuit and disabled the ship. Leia then sent the plans down to the surface of Tatooine inside of an astromech droid, which would later be purchased by the Lars family. Luke removes the restraining bolt and the droid escapes. Luke goes out to find it, and while he's gone, the Lars farm is raided by Imperials and Owen and Beru are killed. Alderaan is destroyed by the Death Star. Luke decides to go with Obi-Wan to deliver the droid, R2-D2, to Alderaan. But, you know, the planet is destroyed and they're captured by the Death Star. They escape with Leia, but Obi-Wan dies fighting Vader. They head to Yavin 4 where they deliver the plans to the Rebellion. It's then that the Death Star pops out of hyperspace. However, the Rebellion scrambles fighters armed with proton torpedoes that will be able to get into the exhaust vent and set off a chain reaction which will blow the station. And thanks to Luke and the ghost of old Ben Kenobi, the whole thing goes down, and then, everyone but Chewbacca gets a medal. We all know this. He gets one
a medal later.
Give him one later.
Yeah, he gets the one later.
Rise of Skywalker, I think. 3 ABY. The Battle of Hoth occurs. Vader leads the charge, but the rebels escape. Luke, having had a vision of Ben, goes to train with Yoda, while Han, Leia, and Chewbacca end up in Cloud City to be used as bait for Luke. Han is frozen and delivered to Jabba the Hutt by Boba Fett. Luke appears to rescue Leia and Han, but is instead forced to face Vader, who cuts off his hand and reveals that he is his father. Luke would—
I am your father. No. So I don't know why I have just its instinct to just play all the quips I know. I'm gonna keep doing it.
Rather die than join Vader, but the Force saves him and he's rescued by Leia and Chewbacca. Luke then receives a new hand from the rebels. 4 ABY. Leia and Chewbacca go to rescue Han, but are captured by Jabba. Luke goes to flex on Jabba, but nobody out-pizzas the Hutt, so he ends up captured too. They get taken to the Sarlacc to be fed, but they escape from Jabba's grasp and kill Jabba, and also set Boba Fett up for his own series. They manage to get off Tatooine scot.
Oh, they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have done that. They should have just killed my man. He deserved a better death. He deserved a death. He deserved a death instead of that TV show they gave him. 100%.
Free. Luke decides to go back to finish his training with Yoda, but by the time he gets there, Yoda dies of old age. Obi-Wan divulges that Leia is Luke's sister about one movie too late to stop him from kissing her twice, and Luke decides that he must face Vader. He returns to the rebels, and they discuss the second Death Star and their plan to destroy it. They're sent to Endor, where Luke surrenders to Vader, while Leia, Han, and Chewbacca go to destroy the shield generator. Luke faces Vader and Emperor Palpatine, where he defeats Vader soundly and returns him to the light side. Vader, now Anakin Skywalker once more, kills Palpatine before dying himself. Luke escapes—
Kills with quotations. Kills with quotations. Kills with quotations. Nah, he should have stayed dead for his own good. He would have been seen as a greater threat if he just stayed dead. But somehow, Palpatine has returned. One of the worst lines ever muttered in history.
The Death Star, Han, Chewie, and Leia destroy the shield generator, and Lando Calrissian leads them inside the Death Star to destroy it and succeed. The Empire begins to fall. Fall of the Empire, 4 ABY to 5 ABY. Sentinel droids are sent out to deliver word of the Emperor's final directive, Operation Cinder. The Empire begins to launch counterattacks that bring them and their forces to Jakku to force a final battle with the rebels, which culminates in the Empire's complete destruction. Era of the New Republic. 5 ABY. Han Solo and Leia Organa give birth to a child that they name Ben Solo. Luke Skywalker begins to search for lost lore of the Jedi to rebuild the Order. Sabine Wren and
Bro, the Luke Skywalker from Battlefront 2 hits different. I love him. He's my favorite rendition of Star Wars. Fuck, was it like, I don't remember which conversation or how it started. It was like, the guy was conflicted about where what he was doing and everything, but he's like, I also know who you are and
blind.
everything.
I know what the Empire is capable of.
What makes
What else is
me
there?
think I could change? I think was the question. I just remember the very very good line, the choice to be better, and I was like, oh, that's Luke Skywalker, and it's a simple choice, the choice to be better, and I'm like, that's my man, Luke.
Ashoka Tano search for Ezra Bridger. 8 ABY. Poe Dameron learns to fly starships from his mother. 9 ABY. The Mandalorian comes into contact with a target named Grogu of the same race as Yoda. He's requisitioned to deliver him to the Empire's remnants. He does so, but he has a change of heart. Din Djarin then returns for his target and saves him, betraying the Bounty Hunters Guild. He escapes with the help of his Mandalorian brothers and sisters, but as he escapes, they're killed. Mando meets Ashoka in hopes of returning Grogu to his kind. Din Djarin takes the child to a powerful spot in the Force where a Jedi might sense him, but he's captured by Moff Gideon. With the help of Boba Fett, Din Djarin seeks Grogu and attacks Moff Gideon with Bo-Katan Kryze's help, who wishes to reclaim the Darksaber from Gideon.
My god.
Din Djarin beats Gideon and claims the Darksaber for himself and frees Grogu. It's then that a Jedi finds them and comes to save Grogu. That Jedi is Luke Skywalker. Yeah, I was surprised too, but I figured it out long before they showed his face. Boba Fett then returns to Tatooine and kills Bib Fortuna, claiming the throne of Jabba the Hutt.
No.
He then ends up in a turf war with the Pikes and is double-crossed by the other rival crime syndicates. In the end, he's victorious and kills, I say that in quotation marks because nobody just kills him, Cad Bane in the process.
No.
He then eliminates the Pike leadership in Mos Espa along with the rival syndicate leaders. Meanwhile, Luke trains Grogu but realizes that his attachment to Din Djarin is strong and decides to offer the child a choice: the path of the Jedi or to be returned to his friend. Grogu chooses Din Djarin and Luke respects his decision. Djarin works some odd jobs here and there, but he learns that he doesn't know jack about wielding the Darksaber. This is especially true when he nearly cuts his own leg off with it. However, one of the survivors who helped him escape with Grogu originally, Paz Vizsla, challenges him for the Darksaber, but Din Djarin is victorious. However, it's revealed that he had removed his helmet, and by code of the Children of the Watch, he's no longer Mandalorian and must cleanse himself on Mandalore, which is still barren from the attack launched against it by the Empire in 1 BBY. 15 ABY. Rey Skywalker, yes,
We could pause this here. Part of me wants to just end the video here. We don't have to go forward. We could stop right here. And nobody would really care. Yeah, nobody would really care if we just end the video here. You know. Am I wrong though? Am I wrong? We're gonna have to finish it.
Oh, we're observing her claim to be a Skywalker because Luke and Leia essentially told her to take the name. Just everyone calm down.
No.
Rey is born. Luke also rebuilds the Jedi Order in this year. Ben Solo also begins to train with Luke as well. 28 ABY.
I'm not gonna lie. I was okay with Ben's redemption. I was okay with his character arc being conflicted, fighting, trying to, going from the light side to the dark side, and then in the end, finding out that, no, I'm a Skywalker, I'm gonna stick to the light, I liked everything except the ending. I did not like the fucking transfer of life. If it was just him having to rebuild and maybe go entire life of exile or penance, but rebuilding the Jedi Order in some form or way, or helping in some form or way, or maybe rebuilding it because he knows the dangers of the dark side and the light side, and he could warn and teach about it, being a man that felt to it, could have been so much better than what we had. It could have been so much better than what we had. But no, we got none of that.
Why? Luke senses darkness in Ben Solo and begins to fear.
What?
He nearly kills Ben, but thinks better of it. His lapse in judgment, though, was the push that Ben needed, and Ben turns to the dark side and destroys Luke's Jedi Order, taking the name Kylo Ren upon himself, and begins to train in hopes of becoming more like his grandfather, Darth Vader. 34 ABY. The events of Star Wars Resistance and The Force Awakens take place. Rey travels with Solo and Chewbacca to the Resistance base to deliver the map to Luke Skywalker, but is captured before she can do so. She escapes before Ren can make her tell him where Luke is, and awakens to the Force when she sees Finn nearly killed. Han Solo is killed by Rey.
I was expecting to see Finn be the one that turns into a Jedi the whole movie. I'm not gonna lie. I thought the whole movie was about a stormtrooper becoming a Jedi, and I was so down for it. I was so in for it. I was like, I want to see the stormtrooper wield a lightsaber, and he did. And I thought, oh my god, I'm fine with this. I'm happy. I don't care at this point. This was before the other movies, right? I was like, okay, all right, I'm cool. I like this. I could work, but no. After it turned to Rey beating this guy who's been trained to be a Jedi and uses hatred, lose to her. I was like, okay, never mind. It's not entertaining.
Ren. She scars Kylo Ren and escapes Starkiller Base on Ilum before the planet explodes. She then seeks out Luke to train with him. Later that year, as Finn wakes up, Supreme Leader Snoke is hot on the tail of the Resistance. Finn and Rose Tico are sent to Cantonica to find the Master Codebreaker who can help them get into Snoke's flagship. Rey allows herself to be captured and brought before Snoke in hopes that Ben Solo can be saved, but she underestimates him and watches him kill Snoke and claim the role of Supreme Leader of the First Order himself. Luke confronts Kylo Ren and shows how easy he could beat him, but doesn't because he's not really there. Luke dies on Ahch-To. The Resistance escapes to
Dumbest death of all time.
Man, I'm dead.
Dumbest death of all time. You see, the beginning part, I wasn't really talking because I was fine with everything. Everything was fine. I was okay with the stories. But once we get here, I have something to say every 5 seconds because I have complaints. Nothing but complaints for this. There's so much wrong with his writing.
destruction. 35 ABY. Somehow Palpatine returns
Oh
and
my
issues
God.
his declaration to the galaxy, and the Resistance set out to defeat this new threat. Rey, Poe, and Finn head to Pasaana, where they find a Sith dagger that tells them where the Sith Wayfinder is. C-3PO can't read it, so they take him to Kijimi to have his programming changed, which results in the loss of his memory until R2-D2 can have that memory returned to him. They learn that the Wayfinder is in the Endor system, and there they find the remains of the Death Star's throne room. There, Rey has a vision of herself on the throne and is confronted by Kylo Ren. Leia dies while they battle, and this causes Ben Solo's whole set of ideas to change, and Rey spares him. The Battle of Exegol would then happen, and Rey and the reformed Ben would face off against Palpatine and kill him. However, Rey is about to die, and Ben transfers his life essence over to her, saving her at the cost of his own life. The galaxy then rises up against the First Order, pushing them back. Rey officially takes the name of Skywalker, buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers in front of the Lars family home, and creates her own lightsaber.
Why
The
did
galaxy
you do
then
it?
heads into a new era, as of yet unknown. And that is the complete timeline of Star Wars canon. Of course, there are a few more things that have happened that we neglected, a lot of smaller events, but if we listed them here and there, we'd probably be here for like 12 hours, so a special thanks goes out to Wikipedia, the Star Wars fandom. Their timeline helped us out a bunch, so if you want to see more of the timeline that I failed to add, be sure to check it out there. I hope you enjoyed this video. Peace out, and may the Force be with you always.
May the Force be with you as well. I have to say, yeah, it is. That was a good watch. Okay, I enjoyed most of it, but by the end, I just get reminded. Of why I did not like the sequels so much. There is so many flaws and so many loose ends in the writing. With Finn's character, they didn't really progress a lot. He was an entire early setup and they didn't do anything. I feel like Ben was wasted. Luke, oh my god, Luke, they did him so bad. He was doing a lot of things that he would not do. This is not the Luke Skywalker I looked up to. This is not the Luke Skywalker, the Jedi Master. This is not the Luke Skywalker that defeated Darth Vader by turning him back into the good side and redeemed one of the darkest characters in all the saga. This is not the choose to be better Luke that I know. Oh my god. It's just...
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
It's painful to think about, but it's just it is what it is. It is what happened. It's just something I have to live with. Everything else I enjoyed though. From the beginning, I need to definitely get more into the not the prequel stuff per se, but the prequel stuff like Old Republic, some Legend stuff. I definitely want to get into. I need to get into Plagueis the Wise because I actually don't really know much about him. I need to get into more Old Republic certain Sith Lords that I've heard were about, and that one guy that was like as strong, if not stronger, than Sidious at his prime, and that would like eat planets, or it was maybe that's somebody else that ate planets, but there's somebody that ate like there's so many interesting characters that I have to dig into that are in the past. I'll probably do an Old Republic more defined timeline, so we have that type of era that like laid out before me and everything. But until then, that's been my video. Hope you guys all enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And don't forget, I stream on Twitch as well on Monday, Wednesdays, and Saturdays at 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. PST. So if you are at all interested, check me out over there. Besides that, have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.